Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. And for today's episode, just like we mentioned, we'll be playing against Krasnodar in the Europa League. First knockout round, of course, it's the second leg though, so we already played the first. And I'm happy to say that we did win it, as you can tell from the previous meeting. So in terms of what happened since the last episode, we've got a couple of updates, of course. But in general, you can kind of tell that it's not going too well. Of course, we are beating expectations by still being in the Champions League spot. We are just 1 point away from Benfica, who are in the Europa League spots, and the same can be said about Sporting, 3 points away. So, by all means, we haven't secured that spot. You can also tell that Porto are kind of running away with the league there a little bit. Ferreira, 4 points ahead of us, but Porto 12 big points away from us. So we do have a lot of catching up to do, and if we do start performing well this time, then maybe we're still in it. But of course, I know we can't afford to lose any more games. We can afford to draw about 2 more possibly, but that would be the maximum. Porto really just outperforming us so far in the league. 4 less losses is what ultimately cost us, and hopefully we can actually still catch up on them. Maybe cause a few losses to them themselves. But anyways, today's all about Europa League, and just a couple of things to point out. Hassan is now our outstanding goal scorer. Danilo's still leading the highest average rating, but of course it also leads the most red cards and most player of the matches, just to give everyone a headache. Fabio Martin's still leading the most assists, and Julian Fernandez best pass completion. Good to see from a ball-winning midfielder. So what happened since the last episode? We showed you that game against Goimeres, a 1-1 draw. What followed was a win in the league, a loss in the league, a draw as well. So very, very mixed bag of results. And of course, the best of the lot, which was a 4-0 defeat of Krasnodar away from home. Now, I just want to, remind you guys that we weren't actually favourites for this game. I thought we were the better team, but when it came to it on day, apparently we weren't favourites, so it was really good to see us get that type of result. Against Martimo though, it was Jubal and Martins who scored 10 minutes apart. Pana got sent off for his team as well, so it's good for us to see. And we kind of just extended our winning streak against this team. I think we consistently perform well against them, so it's good just to see that again. Obviously the game was also televised, and it's good that everyone got to see us win quite convincingly. Benfica though, just a poor loss. Danilo getting sent off once more. It's just incredibly frustrating dealing with him. I think ever since he's gotten his confirmed transfer to Dortmund, it's not that he doesn't care, but he just doesn't really seem too bothered about getting sent off, I suppose. Ultimately, he did cost us a possibility of getting a draw, at least if not turning around the result completely, as Lucas Alerio got the goal for Benfica. So as you can see, they did beat us. They did get 3 points, but they're still a point behind us. So that kind of shows how poorly Benfica and Sporting have been performing. Even though we've said we said ourselves that we're performing not too well. So that kind of puts everything in perspective. Krasnodar, players who were on the score sheet were Jubal again, scoring some very important set-piece goals. Sorry about that. Set-piece goals for us. Santos there in the 34th minute, Hassan as well in the 55th, and Rosa just rounding things up perfectly for us, as today it's very unlikely that we'll concede 4 goals, let alone 4 away goals, and it will take Krasnodar 5 to actually beat us. Tondela though, just a 0-0 draw. Nothing interesting happening in that game. Hopefully something more interesting will happen in today's game, and I think this is a team we'll be going with. We'll talk more about that in just a second. But as you can tell, some key players still missing. Marfona, Martins and Grezzo all injured for different lengths, but hopefully Martins and Grezzo both. Grezzo's just suspended, but hopefully Martins will be back soon, and Grezzo should be ready for the next game, and hopefully the next round of the Europa League too. Should we go through? Obviously we should technically go through, and I'm hopefully just going to show you a game here today that's just exciting, and a bunch of goals for you guys, because we kind of already do have the result in the bag. It's just to show you hopefully a good game to put behind us a couple of episodes where we haven't really necessarily had the most exciting of games to show you. Let's do it. Today is the day. Aubameyang is leading with 14 goals with Dortmund. Everyone else kind of seems quite far behind. Like I said, there was 6 goals as well. We haven't got a single player on that list. A bit disappointing. The point is, we are obviously in the first knockout round going through to the second. Again, we're beating expectations, so it's good to see. And yeah, we're favourites for today's game. I think fair enough, but we're winning the tie at still half time. That's also something to remind the players of. In terms of lineups, we've already talked about why Rosa's starting, because Martin's injured. Santos there back in the firing line again. Hopefully he can actually perform today and keep his place in the side. But he's very indifferent this season so far. Hassan starting, that's nothing new. Raniel on the bench to hopefully come off and cause some damage should Hassan fail to do anything of note. Danilo, Fonte and Rossell are our first choice players anyways. Juankar, George, Jubal and Paulino. Kind of straightforward defense other than Arthur starting. Rosic is another one of those players who's kind of having a bit of a indifferent form this season too. He should be, I think, to be honest, I never really keep a serious eye on my captain, but I'm quite sure that he is our captain for the club. No, it's Danilo. How can Danilo be the captain and vice captain? I could have sworn Rosic was captain too. Oh, is it because he's not even here? Okay, wait, how do I do this? Alright. Yeah, there you go. See, Rosic is actually our captain. And so, you know, obviously it's always a huge loss when your captain's not on the pitch, but Danilo should do a decent enough job as is. But yeah, you just want to see more from your captain. You want to see consistent performances, especially because he plays in central defense as well. He has the least likely, you know, position to be rotated. Very rarely in football are centre backs rotated frequently, and yet he manages to be rotated quite often. We don't have to go into control, but I'm just going to push it up a little bit so that we can actually get some goals and see some exciting highlights here. I do want you guys to see some really edge of your seat kind of action here. But it looks like we're not going to get any in the first half, and maybe we can bounce back in the second and get some goals. It looks like we've dominated though, possession, shots, and all that sort of business. I'm actually going to work the ball into the box here and see if my players can actually get some more shots on target rather than just shots. I'm going to remind the players that it's still not over. Maybe they can get a goal. Doesn't help that Krasnodar are, of course, playing a 4-2-3-1 formation, but they're also playing it in defensive. So not only do they have two defensive midfielders, but they're playing in a defensive tactic as is. Forget the formation, just the instructions and the roles. You know, I think you might have noticed that the striker dropped a bit too. Be surprised if we get a goal, but I'm going to try and do that with Hassan coming off for Raniel. He is on a 6.4 rating, not having the best of games. Probably struggling against two centre-backs as well as two defensive midfielders. And I think we'll save the other changes for later. Alright, Raniel, show us what you're made of off the bench. Take over from Hassan. Hassan had a terrible game. Proves to him how to play as a striker, especially as a false nine. And grab us a goal here. Immediate highlight after the substitution. Is it going to be in our favour? Krasnodar with a ball. Not a bad ball into the box. Rosso kind of just lets them win it there, and finally Raniel's going to head it on and chase his own ball. So there you go, let's see what he can do. 1 versus 6. Long range shot probably. Yeah, not too bad. But he will need some more support. A bit disappointing no one else supported him. We are playing on control, so everyone should have pushed up a tiny bit more than on the counter. We'll take off Ross. No, not Ross, sorry, actually. We'll take off Santos for Simia. Joka for Fonte. Let's try and seriously push for that goal. "70 minutes though, and 0-0. We'll still go through either way, so it's good to see that. But I was just hoping the players will still want to try and get a positive result despite the 4-0 dominance. Maybe we'll see a free kick scored. Nope. Rosso instead in the box, loses it. Next up, Krasnodar are going to lead. Nope. Thought they were going to lead a counter attack, but Arthur's there. And they're hardly, pushing any players forward. That's what's making them a little bit hard to break down here. Our teams struggle to do that. Maybe Joka can do it. Through ball to Rossa. What's he going to do? Is he shoot? Nope. Raniel. Back to Rossa. It's a bit of a mix up in the box, and is he going to put a good ball into the... not too good, to be honest. Juankar, Danilo, long range shot. No, I think the work ball into the box thing is what's stopping these players from taking some ridiculous shots. Really good ball out to Paulino though, and he should put a good ball into the box now. Nope. Looks like everyone's struggling here. Just break this team down. Danilo. Back to Uri. Come on, you've got a couple of players free. Find someone. Yeah, that's a good ball to Raniel. Through to Danilo. Is he going to score? That was the first clear-cut chance of the game. Unfortunately, I couldn't rely on my ball-winning midfielder to score that. Now, see, that's the strange thing, that Danilo actually gets more forward than our advanced playmaker. So it's a bit weird. You know, sometimes I think about switching the ball-winning midfielder with the advanced playmaker and see if that makes any difference. But really, I mean, you know what? I'll just go into overload for you guys. Maybe we can still get a goal. I don't, you know, it's not too much of an issue if we concede at this point, because, you know, we've got 4 goals and it's unlikely for them to score 10. But I do want to show you at least 1 goal. And you guys might not even get that. So we pushed into overload. And the clock just keeps ticking away. Well, anyways, at least we did get the result that we were looking for. And not too many bad pieces of football. Raniel there again, I think that should kind of count as a second clear-cut chance, but I think it goes in the half-chance category instead. Referee blows his whistle either way, and we're through to the second knockout round. So perfect for us. It's kind of like the quarterfinals really, because after the second knockout round you go straight into the semis. And you know, we're definitely beating expectations. It's good to see that we're performing quite well in the cup competition rather than how we're performing in the league, which is very indifferent. But yeah, whoever we face off against next, hopefully we can actually destroy them in the same way we did against Krasnodar. Maybe I can start resting some players the second leg. I didn't rest anyone today because I thought, let me see if we can get a result. Let me show you guys a good game. Unfortunately, it didn't work out in that favour, but you know, why not? I'll show you who we draw instead. How about that? If that can make up for anything. We did get 430k though, so it's good to see. And actually, you know what? I need to sort out my team first before, because I need to rest some players. Okay, so let's have a look at the match report. Paulino, Rossell, Danilo. Okay, so Paulino and then Rossell onwards. Rossell onwards and Paulino. Alright. These are the players that we're considering to take off, but considering their form as well. So Paulino stays, Rossell stays, Danilo can come off, Fonte in good form, Santos the same, Rossa, and the same goes to Hassan. So it's just Danilo who comes off. And Grizzle comes back on. And yeah, that's kind of just how I decide my team. So anyone who's performed under the rating of 7 will be up for consideration of being, you know, taken off or not. And then you check the form as well. And if they're still in good form, you know, anything above 7 again, then that means, you know, give them one more shot until they actually drop below 7, and then you can take them out. So Danilo, by definition, isn't in poor form. 6.92 isn't the worst, but, you know, considering like Grezzo, who's got a 7.04, he's a bit more deserving, and the rest of the players as well are high 7s. So, you know, it kind of doesn't make sense to drop that player. But anyways, I think we can just kind of go forward now and see who will draw. I actually need to rest some players because you don't have too many games between now. Too many days rather, too many rest days between now and the next game. And it's a new month now, March. We should be getting some regen soon, but I just want to see if there's anything we can improve. Nope. We're already doing training facilities. I think the board are happy with just about that. Jabal's won the Premier League Player of the Month award, and I think that's quite fair for a central defender to score 2 goals in about 3 appearances. Why not? Very well deserved. You know, I think at a time I showed you guys Jubal is a leading player, but he kind of dropped to a good player, and then now he's back up to leading, so I really don't know what to believe. I think it's kind of a form thing that affects his ability until he actually just evens out and becomes a proper, you know, leading player. Joka as well finally got a nice little update that he's a good player now, he can push on into a leading player, because he does have a bit more potential, as well as age on his side. He's 23 years of age. If he 24, 25 is kind of where you really round off your potential. And let's see, let's draw the teams one by one. So San Sebastian, Bilbao. Don't give me Porto, United. Sporting, don't give me a Premier League, Portuguese Premier League team either. BMG, Napoli, don't want Napoli either. To be honest, who I want is, I would take Olympiacos, of course, or Everton or Leicester. That's my ideal. Looks like I'm not getting Leicester. Okay, it's us now. Please, Olympiacos. Dortmund instead, and it looks like we kinda ended our Europa League. You never know. I mean, we've beaten Roma and Tottenham before, but we do need to do it against the top team in 2 legs, because we've beaten them before, but we didn't beat them over 2 legs. So maybe this is our chance to actually perform well over 2 legs and knock out a serious favourite for the Europa League. I think Dortmund are really up there for being favourites for the Europa League. So our expectation was only to reach the group stage. They're not too fussed. We've gone way beyond the expectations, so the board are very happy. I imagine this would drop after if we lose, then it would drop slightly, but yeah, they'll still definitely be happy with how we performed. But yeah, as always, we will be back in 5 games time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Estero in the Premier Liga, and hopefully we would have won these 2 games to put us in a good position. We do play against Ferrer, who are in second, so if we beat them, we really close that gap down to just a single point. So maybe we can do that as well. That'll be perfect. Really set us up quite well for the rest of the Premier Liga. And yeah, we do obviously have the Taça de Portugal, the first leg. Very interesting game, of course. Hopefully we already have that wrapped up by the time we reach the second leg. But yeah, we have a very interesting game to show you against Österreich. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do of course hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Football Manager 2017 content. And as always, guys, thank you all very much for watching.